welcome to the Dripping Stone Podcast, a podcast where two friends raise a glass and have a conversation. I'm Nick.
I'm Kyle. Trying to balance it.
Okay. Yeah. Kyle, as we get started this week, we want to invite all of our friends to support Dripping Stone by rating this podcast wherever it is you find great podcasts like this one.
Yeah, give us a virtual high five.
We'd also love it if you just tell someone about Dripping Stone.
Yeah, indeed.
And if you feel so inclined to donate a few extra dollars to the Dripping Stone podcast, you can do so through our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/Dripping Stone.
That's so generous of you to do that.
It is. And we'd also love to recommend something to you.
What's that?
Go to your nearest cabinet.
Yeah.
Open that cabinet.
Gotcha.
Find a cup-like vessel.
Ooh.
Take it out of the cabinet.
Right.
And fill said cup-like vessel with whatever liquid suits your fancy.
And I would love a video of people doing that with whatever random thing they pulled out of the cabinet and filled up with whatever random liquid based off of Nick's very, loose suggestion of an activity.
I don't know if I want to see that, actually.
I kind of do. Here's my milk jug of gasoline.
See, that's what it would turn into.
Yeah.
Knowing the Dripping Stoners, that's what it would turn into.
Gotcha. This is just me enjoying a Dripping Stone episode. Just, hey, it's what you said, Nick. All right. I follow your directions specifically.
Off the rails completely. And we're only 30 seconds in.
There we go.
Speaking of being off the rails, do you want to drink something?
I am thirsty.
Good. I have a little bottle for us. In fact, this is a 700 ml bottle. It's a littler bottle than normal.
Oh, a little cute bottle.
A little cute bottle. Just a little.
Lost a little weight. You know, got on its summer bod already.
No, well, he's on that Ozempic.
And them Hims shots I keep seeing advertisements.
Exactly. Pay for that Super Bowl ad.
That's right.
I mean? Can we say Super Bowl?
No, I don't think we can. Actually.
Damn it. That big game ad.
Yeah. Yeah. The big game.
Stupid.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Whatever. This is the Laphroaig Isla Single Malt Scotch Whiskey. This is the Cairdeas Cask Favourites.
Sweetness.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Yeah, it might be some sweetness.
It might be some sweetness. So this was the every year since 2008. I think it's 2008.
Good year.
Laphroaig has been releasing the Cairdeas for the Friends of Laphroaig, which we're friends of Laphroaig.
We are friends.
Yeah.
Good pals.
We are good pals. And so the Cairdeas is a kind of like the Ardbeg releases and the Bunnahabhain special releases, like that kind of deal.
Right. It's their exploratory.
Yeah, it's
bottling.
It's a limited edition bottling. It's, a limited run. Here's the thing that we're doing this year, and we happen to have the 2024 because this is released generally in May. And I actually had this bottle in Scotland, and when I had it at the Laphroaig distillery, they said, "You're from the States?" I said, "Yeah." They're like, "You're not going to get this for quite some time," and so they made it sound like we weren't going to get the Cairdeas here in the States for like a year, but I found it last month. So here it is.
There you go.
Yeah. This is the Cask Favorite. It is a 10-year Cairdeas. There's some box words. You want me to read into?
Sure.
Cool. This 10-year-old Cairdeas brings everyone together to celebrate 30 years of Friends of Laphroaig. Distillery manager Barry McCaffrey and master blender Callum Fraser chose to create an ode to our friends using two well-loved Cairdeas releases as inspiration. So this is actually a marriage of two separate Cairdeas releases.
Interesting.
Yeah. 2019's Triple Wood and 2021's PX Cask. An age statement whiskey harking back to our first Cairdeas expressions. This is a Laphroaig that matches our punchy, reeky peat smoke and minerality with fruity, sweeter qualities. So normally Cairdeas doesn't have an age statement. So this is interesting because it is 10-year and Laphroaig is like, that's their standard age statement.
Right.
And it's a blend of the Triple Wood, 2019's Triple Wood Cairdeas release and 2021's PX Cask Cairdeas release.
So are you taking that they had left over?
That's what I'm taking.
Or are you thinking that they just went ahead and put more into new barrels?
Yeah, no.
Then blended that?
I take it, the way I take it is that they had left over 2019 and left over 2021 PX casks in the barrels.
Right.
And so then they married those two things together, and one of those was 10 years, so they can now call it a 10-year age statement. I don't think
both had to be 10 years.
At least 10 years, correct. Yeah. So that's what I meant. Like one of them was, the minimum age.
They both. This was an age statement that they both qualified for.
Correct. Yeah. So one of these could have been 20 years.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't think what they're doing is just popping open a bunch of bottles and pouring those bottles. I don't think Brendan Fraser's literally just standing over a vat and like.
Did you say Brendan Fraser?
No, I did say Brendan Fraser. I meant Callum Fraser. That'd be funny. George of the Jungle standing over.
Yeah. Rick O'Connell.
Yeah, standing over there. Yeah. Wow. Ooh. 1999 Brendan Fraser. Oh, buddy.
Get out of town.
Yeah. No, I want to be in town when he's in town.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I don't think that's what's happening. If that's what you mean.
Yeah. No, I wasn't suggesting that. I literally meant like they had barrels that they didn't bottle.
Yeah.
For both of these releases.
That's what I take. Yeah.
Which is just kind of like interesting.
Yeah. Why would you not
just
do
like
that?
why did you not bottle those if that's what it was? I mean, no, I understand why you didn't bottle it. You want to hang on to it and kind of do a thing with it. But then like, all right,
y'all made a lot of whiskey in 2019, 21.
But then you tried it, and you were like, let's put these two together. Let's see if it makes it better.
Yeah. A Cairdeas, that's Gaelic for friendship, release is always special. It's where we create something that's just for our friends. It's 30 years since we started the Friends of Laphroaig, so this edition of our Cask Favourites is our way to say sláinte. Enjoy it with friends. We're going to do that.
Sláinte.
Knowing you're always a friend of Laphroaig.
Cool.
What's cool about this, too, is that most Laphroaig caps are now all plastic.
Yep.
But this one's wood.
Look at that.
Yeah, I know. So they did a little for it.
Sexy. Solid. Man.
Look, holy crap, man. Look at this thing.
Yeah, that's bourbon dark.
I would venture to say darker than most. It has a red tint to it that's darker than most bourbons.
Yeah, it's suggestive of sherry cask influence.
So the color of this is influenced, I think, a lot by the PX.
Right.
Which is, let's be honest, it's a type of sherry.
Sherry.
But
my sherry. More.
The 2019 Cairdeas release was the triple wood at cask strength. So like their triple wood is one of their more affordable releases. Like they have the Lore, the 10, the triple wood, the Select. Those are kind of like their core releases.
Quarter cask,
that's right. This one, the 2019 Cairdeas, is the triple wood, but at cask strength.
Gotcha.
And the triple wood is a blend or a marrying of first matured ex-bourbon barrels, so American oak.
Right.
Then they throw it in quarter casks, and then they finally throw it in European oak casks, which contained sherry. Whew, you follow all that?
I got it.
All right. So it's aged in
just
three different
lot of
woods.
damn wood.
Correct.
Right.
And then it's a marriage of the 2021, which is a PX cask.
Which is a Pedro Jimenez.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Anyway, so I think that's where this rust color comes from.
The sherry casks that the triple wood ended in, were they quarter?
I don't think. I think they're just like European.
Normal.
Yeah, Urinal cask. Not urinal cask.
Urinal cask.
No, urinal.
Those little urinal cask cakes. Urinal cake. Yeah.
Did I say the ABV?
Nope.
Okay, I'm gonna say the ABV 52.4 or 104.8 proof.
104.8.
Yeah. All right. On the nose.
Yeah, it's got that Laphroaig smoky kick, but it's like wrapped in
sweet.
Yeah, like cake, but like fruit cake.
Like,
but not bad fruit cake. Not that nasty fruit cake.
See, I get like red velvet cake, and I think it's just because it's red tinted.
Right.
But I like it's all the Laphroaig with a cakey sweetness.
Yeah, I get like a nut bread though, like a banana
like
nut.
A banana nut, like a walnut bread.
Yeah, like some sort of a nutty bread.
Nutty bread with some like salt chunks in it.
Yeah, it's got like some red berries in it.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Maybe it's just like jam on top of it or something.
Like you take that banana bread and you spread raspberry jam on it.
Yeah. I don't think I want it. But
I was going to say, do you toast that banana bread? Or you just chuck it in the microwave for like 10 seconds. Oh, dude, that's fantastic. Like warm banana bread. I mean, this smells fantastic too, but warm banana bread. Oh man, I could nose this all day because every time I go back to it, it's like, oh, Pete's back, and then you go back and like, oh, there's the sherry. Oh, there's the bourbon.
Right.
Because normally each one of those things like will present itself and then just go on.
Yeah, they just all keep popping through at different intervals.
I really like that.
Great nose.
Yeah. And what I also like, and maybe it's a bit deceptive here, is that the proof is not super punchy. Like I'm not, socked in the nose with proof.
Right.
All right, shall we?
Okay.
God, it's so pretty too.
It is really pretty.
That is fantastic.
It makes me wonder, like, is this going to be bitter? Is this going to be
no,
have a lot
no.
of wood influence?
No, I'm gonna say it's gonna be spicy. I think it's gonna be sweet.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
So many layers,
Onions have layers.
just like ogres.
Yeah,
It bites hard
Ooh, okay.
for only being 104,
It really it punches way up.
and it quite spicy.
Oh yeah,
Proof spicy.
proof spicy. And then you got this really beautiful sweet that just kind of caresses you.
Yeah, the whole way. That's really complex and really good. Like,
Yeah.
enough smoke that it's there, but it's not like overwhelming Laphroaig smoke. It's like really enjoyable, just like kind of like
It's a bit more
smoked meat smoke.
Yeah, it's a bit more tame than regular Laphroaig. It's like you took that and you just tamped it down just a little bit.
Yeah, like all the wood influence and the sherry influence help balance it.
Balance is correct. Yeah.
And then, man, that spice still just kind of like comes in and like just slaps you on the ass on the way out. Makes you turn around and kind of blush, Whoa. You didn't have to do that.
Did you just do that?
Yeah. I mean, I liked it. But jeez.
I approve, but
Gas me up.
Yeah. You don't have to hit me that hard.
Maybe you do. I'm not saying it was wrong.
No, what I really enjoy about this is just how incredibly complex it is.
Yeah, agreed.
I think it's a bit of a challenge, though. And I would say, like, this is, when they say this is a bottle for the Friends of Laphroaig, 100%. Like, there's not, if you don't like Laphroaig, or if you're, like, not even, I would say, like, even if you're mildly interested in Laphroaig, this is still not a bottle for you. Like, you've got to want this.
See, like, I feel like Laphroaig, just regular Laphroaig 10 is more challenging than this in terms of its aggressive
peat,
smoke
yes,
and medicinal stuff. It is
I agree with you there.
Challenged whiskey.
I agree with you there. In terms of regular peat and mandatiness, yeah, for sure. However, the peat and the medicinal is not as pronounced, but the layers beneath that become, I would say, lost on someone who is not wanting to engage in that experience. The PX and the sherry, and even the subtle differences between bourbon, American oak, and this European oak, which is a little bit brighter, I feel like, I think is there. And if you're going to truly appreciate it, and I know how like whiskey snobby this sounds of me, and I'm going to own it, like, this is something that you've got to earn. I feel like.
I don't disagree. I feel like it being what it is and it coming from Laphroaig and them, specifying that, like, this is a special bottling for our fans. Yes, I agree with all of that. That being said, I think that this is a more friendly whiskey, and it's one that you could get people to enjoy before having them enjoy Laphroaig 10, is what I'm saying.
Like, I could give this to someone and they're going to enjoy this more than regular Laphroaig.
If they let's say they don't like smoky scotch, or they've never had smoky scotch, I think this is a better introduction into that.
Okay,
because it's sweeter, it's got more desserty kind of qualities to it that I think it would be a better first introduction. All right, here's Laphroaig 10.
Okay, if I'm thinking in that perspective, I think that's
what I mean
right.
by it.
I see what you mean.
But I do absolutely agree that, like, this is something that, like, it's too special for that. This shouldn't be an introductory bottle. This is something that, like, like, I've had some experiences and things, and I've had several different varieties of Laphroaig. I want to try this one. Yeah. And that's how you earn it.
It reminds me of some ways like the Warehouse 9 Bunnahabhain stuff.
Right.
Of like you can get those things online, but I feel like it's cheating in some ways. Yeah. Like, you've got to go to Bunnahabhain to earn the Warehouse 9 stuff. And I kind of think different than Ardbeg, where like all of their special releases are either very expensive or are wide enough, and they're interesting, and sometimes they're interesting, but they're also like a little safe in comparison to this, where I feel like this is, you want Laphroaig, here's Laphroaig, and we're going to throw a lot of stuff at you as well. We're going to throw things at you that like you're not used to seeing. And so here you go.
Not from us.
Right, not from us, correct, yeah. So here you go. Here's something different, and I think knock it out of the park. Like this is such a good expression of it.
Yeah, this is... So I've got a bottle of Laphroaig that is it's a travel exclusive, and it's heavily sherried. And knowing what that bottle is, and this one with the addition of that triple wood,
yeah,
I think is such a great accompaniment to it, and it really balances it really well. The one that I have, the sherry, is kind of overwhelming, and it doesn't really do anything to balance the whiskey. This, I feel like it gets balanced in a way that now you can appreciate the sherry, and it's not combative with what Laphroaig is. Where this, it's like, oh yeah, no, like adding in that third element now just blends it all together and makes it harmonize.
I'd like to know, in relation to your PX cask travel exclusive, like what is the blend of this? Like, is it 50-50? Is it 50% 2019, 50% 2021? Are they like, what is that blend? And
my guess is it's 50-50.
That would make sense.
Because like I'm still getting clear sherry notes. It's not disguising itself as not being sherry. Like, it's still prominent, but just knowing on the bottle that I have what the sherry can be, to where it is almost just like overwhelming. That's just my assumption. Yeah, that's what it feels like. I'd almost like to buy a bottle of like triple wood to blend it with that one. It's not a bottle that I ever gravitate to, just because like it just seems to be arguing with itself. Yeah, and, it's like, you feel like you're the third person in an argument. Like, it's like, y'all just need to like have it out. Like, I don't need to be here for this.
We're arguing with the whiskey, and the whiskey's arguing with itself. So like, no one's getting a word in edgewise.
Yeah, nobody's having a good time here.
That's unfortunate.
But this is great.
Yeah, no, really good bottle.
Delicious.
I have a bit of a confession.
Okay.
I think in some ways this is a product of the current time in which we live. But here lately, I have stumbled upon a channel that you can get if you are a Prime member. So it's through Amazon.
Okay.
Amazon has video channels that you can watch. Actually, a fairly extensive amount of live channels. I'm saying live in quotation marks.
I've noticed how a lot of streaming services are doing those.
Yeah, and so like it's basically like they're curated, they're recorded, but they're live. It has commercials, which is still kind of annoying, but all of these commercials are like Amazon-based commercials, so you can just like tune out Jeff Bezos.
I think they're nostalgic driven
commercials.
Yeah. Okay. Honestly, like I think the way that they're setting these up of like it's live streaming content. Yeah. And they're throwing in commercials so you can kind of feel like
you're watching TV.
Yeah. Like, the old school of like how you would be flipping through channels and you would be halfway through a thing, but I love this movie. Right. Yeah, I'll sit here and watch the rest of that.
Yeah. Or I'll watch this movie until...
But I'm not going to like scroll and find that movie and start it from the beginning.
Right. It's like that. Listen, that's how I watched Twister 700 times.
Right. Like, legit. Back to the Future. Yeah. Anytime you were flipping through there and like you hit it at this point and you're like, I'm just going to watch the last 30 minutes of this. Exactly. For sure. Exactly. But you would never select it and then watch the last 30 minutes of it.
Or like, okay, I'm going to watch this to the next commercial and I'm going to flip back to whatever I was watching. Right. And like, or, it's halftime of this game I'm watching and like, I'll flip over. Right. Oh, look,
I can miss an inning.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's baseball. Yeah. You can miss 7 innings and it's basically the same thing.
And it's still the same score.
Man, I used to love baseball.
I get so hooked. I'm on like Greg Maddox algorithm TikTok on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
I put together a bunch of stuff recently, I guess.
Really?
Because like I'm seeing all this stuff where it's like old stories of like pitching to Jeff Bagwell, or what it was like throwing inside and how much he hated Tony Gwynn because he couldn't pitch to that dude. Yeah. It was like, for whatever reason, and like now Instagram knows it, so they're like, hey, here's Greg Maddox stuff.
There was a documentary, I think it was a documentary, maybe it was like one of those like 30 for 30 kind of things, and it was both Glavin and Maddox and Smoltz. And they were all talking about like the
whole Trinity.
Yeah, like the time where they were all together, and like just how phenomenal of a pitching staff that was.
Yep.
And like
And somehow they only got one World Series out of it.
And I think that's like the crux of some of the conversations is like this team, you had Jones, you had like...
You were in the postseason every year.
Yeah.
But you only got one
like
World
this
Series.
Should have been the team.
Yeah, it should have been like an absolute
just massacre
dynasty
every year. Yeah. Especially with those three as pitchers.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've stumbled upon something that has become a bit of a soothing thing, a bit of a distraction, a bit of a removal from the current...
Escapist.
Yeah, definitely. A removal from the current, I'm going to call it noise.
Yeah.
Just noise. Just constant media bleh.
Right. So much content.
So, well, not just content, but content of a specific kind.
Okay.
I'm kind of dancing around some things. Political stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like just stuff that's
you gotta
a lot.
escape. Yeah. You just got to get away from it for
it's
a
a
bit.
lot. The escape for me has something to do with the botanical variety. And so I want...
Gin?
Sure. That too. I wanted to get your thoughts on gardening.
Yep.
Do you have a green thumb?
I'd like to think I do.
Let me see. That's brown. Why is it brown? Why is it? Oh, God, it smells too.
Put it back where I found it.
Gross. I was wondering why you're sitting all funny. Can you keep a plant alive?
Well, all right. So, good example right now is I have an orchid that I bought well over a year ago at this point that I still have alive, and it did its thing. It had its blooms. Obviously, I bought it when it bloomed.
Sure,
because that's when you buy orchids.
Yeah,
they lived their life for several months. It had those blooms, and it finally dropped them. I did the research. I clipped the node that came off of the main stem.
Yeah,
have been taking care of it, and it is now got new buds ready to bloom.
Wow!
Within the next couple of weeks, I would assume.
Wow!
And like I've never done that with an orchid. I've owned several orchids, but like I've never tried to keep it doing the thing,
keep it alive.
And it I read you clip it right above where the old one came off, or right below it.
Yeah.
Because there's other nodes underneath, and you do the thing, and sure enough, it finally, like after literally probably like 5 or 6 months, it finally started a new shoot. And
wow,
it's extended all the way out, and now it's got the buds popping off of it, and it's going to bloom soon.
Wow, you're a plant dad.
I've got a poinsettia that is now finally turning red again.
Wow,
it was from last year also.
A little bit late, but
didn't make it for Christmas, but it's finally starting to shoot out new red leaves on it. I've got it's called a Christmas cactus.
Yeah,
that did bloom. But it didn't bloom for like 3 or 4 years, and then finally this year exploded.
Show me a picture.
I'm gonna fucking show you a picture of it.
Yeah, I love how proud you are.
I'm really into plants.
Okay,
actually.
Well, I'm glad I brought this up because I've got some confessions and I've got questions.
That was my Christmas cactus.
Oh, damn.
And it's really cool because of how many it's got white blooms, red blooms, and pink blooms.
I know. That's one plant with 3 different colors. That's cool.
As far as I'm aware, it didn't bloom for 3 or 4 years, so I don't really remember.
Could have been that the whole time. You're just like, oh, look at you.
Like that was one side of it.
Wow.
And then that was the other side.
That's bizarre.
It turned into pink. It was wild.
Think about your back porch. Like you got a desert rose, 2 desert roses, right?
Currently, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one I'm trying to keep alive from my mom because she can't get them up there. Like this was my poinsettia. It just went straight green.
Green, yeah.
But like now it's finally got red leaves.
Interesting.
Coming up on it.
I didn't realize that they turn, like the leaves turn red.
They don't turn red. They come out red. But it lost all of its red leaves.
Oh.
And just had green for the longest time.
Huh.
And now it's finally starting to put out little bitty red ones. And as they grow, they stay.
Obviously poinsettia.
Yeah, they stay red. But yeah, it's absolutely like I grew okra this year for the first time.
Yeah.
Did I tell you about that?
Yeah, you did. And
cooked it up, 2 or 3 of them.
Did you fry it?
No, it was like fried in butter.
Oh yeah.
Like put a pat of butter and just cooked them in there.
Yeah.
Fucking delicious.
Your 3
best okra I ever had.
Pod okras. Yeah. 3 little okra pods.
Well, I ate them one at a time. I never had more than one that was ready to be harvested at any given time. So yeah, just cooked up that one. Legit.
Yeah. So I ask all of this because I do not. I do not have.
Yeah, you don't have a single plant on your back porch that I can think of.
No, and the plants that I have had, like I have the best of intentions.
Gotcha.
But I just can't keep a plant alive, or I haven't found one yet that I can keep alive. And I think it's partially because like I just forget.
Right.
I do go on the back porch a fair amount, but I'm not. I would have to see the thing to be like, oh yeah, I gotta water that. Or like I've tried to grow. I love herbs. I love fresh herbs.
Right.
And I've tried to grow, like a woman that I used to work with was like, yeah, basil, man. Basil's the easiest thing to grow. It's just like, it just wants to be alive. Like you can't kill it. I killed it.
Yeah.
The whole thing died.
Right.
I tried, I've tried growing a bunch of things. My grandmother could grow anything.
Right.
My mother-in-law, she's got an orchid that my grandmother gave her like 15 years ago at this point. That plant's still going.
Right.
I'm like, wow. Hopefully I don't inherit this thing because it's going to die.
Right.
Because like, I can't.
And I don't want to be the one that did that.
Right.
To it.
I don't. What are the succulents? I know that succulents are fairly easy.
Right.
To take care of.
Especially in Florida, I think.
Sure.
You can throw those on your back porch.
Yeah. No, I've killed those. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. Cacti. Cacti are fairly easy to grow. You don't have to do a whole lot.
Right.
Killed those.
Huh.
Yeah. I cannot, like, I'm surprised my grass is still alive. To be,
Yeah, your grass looks great.
Thank you. My grass does look pretty good.
Yeah.
Trees are terrible. I keep getting these little flyers. People
pamphlets.
Pamphlets.
You should take better care of your tree.
Exactly. But I cannot keep plants alive. Which brings me to the shows that I've been watching. And those are primarily Gardener's.
You watching HGTV?
No, but pretty close.
Right.
I'm watching Gardener's World with Monty Don.
Interesting. I don't even know what that is.
It is the British gardening show.
Gotcha.
It's been going on since like the 60s, and now it's hosted by a guy named Monty Don, and it is guilty pleasure doesn't even really define it anymore.
Right.
Because I feel no guilt now. Like at some point, Carol like caught me watching. I was like, turn that off.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and now I'm just like, I don't care. Just turn it on. She's like, what is this shit? Please turn it.
I'm watching corn.
I am watching corn.
Right.
And like, so there are a couple of different types of Monty Don Gardener's World perspectives. One is which like he has a garden at home. I presume it's his actual home. And he's like, walking you through, here's what I'm doing. Here's what you should plant. Here's how you plant things. Here's the seasons, is the whole thing. But there's also parts where he's like traveling, and he travels to one that's I've seen now like twice somehow. So I think there's some schedule that they're on. He travels to Sorrento, and he like goes through gardens, and like he'll walk you through gardens of Europe. And there's parts where, or there's shows where he's in LA, and he's talking about all these like beautiful gardens in LA. It fascinates me to no end.
Yeah.
And I don't need to like pay attention to it.
Right.
I don't need to like sit there and watch it, but I will.
Right.
But it's like things on in the background, and I can just look up and like, oh, there's some beautiful plants. I just mesmerized by it.
Yeah.
And I think it's partially because I can kill anything plant wise.
Right.
And it's also a way to like, just kind of like you said, escapist from all the stuff going on.
Yeah. I mean, my grandfather kept a garden.
Yeah.
Like a legit full-on garden. Grew corn, tomatoes, okra, beans. And when I was little, some of my favorite memories are like, working that field with him. Mm-hmm. Of like, I have like all these memories of sitting out in the front yard at their house and shelling beans or shucking corn or, all this kind of stuff. And like, so like I've always been attached to it and interested in it. My grandmother had so many flower beds and so many daylilies, and so like an activity that we would do every day when I was out there is we'd go along and go pluck off all the old blooms from the daylilies that they
literally last a day.
Yeah, daylilies.
I mean, I believe.
So you'd go out and you'd pull the ones from yesterday and pluck those off so that the ones today just look better.
Oh.
She literally had probably like a dozen flower beds of daylilies
Wow.
that grow up like waist high.
Yeah.
And so we'd just go along and pluck off all the old ones and throw them down. But yeah, no, like I love plants. Like you need to take a look at the back porch next time you come
I
over.
will, yeah.
My back porch is overrun to the point that like it drives Maria a little crazy that I've got so many plants.
I mean, I've
started propagating.
Ooh.
I've started propagating Pythos pithos
Yeah.
plants.
Sure.
Because they're like, you can't kill it. I'm gonna fucking give you one.
Nah, bro, I'm gonna kill.
Won't.
I
can't.
will. I will.
swear
I
you
will.
can't.
You can give me one.
Because all I gotta do is just put it in water.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to put it in dirt.
Sure.
You just put that thing in water.
It's gonna die.
I promise you.
Bring me one. I would love. I would love it.
I can give you 30. I've got so many because like I
Listen,
started out with
hold
2.
on. I'm gonna be good with just like one. Like, let's be honest.
Maria bought me like a little thing that we can sit out on the counter now to propagate. They've got all their little separate little things, and I've got the little sprouts in there and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, I want to start propagating.
We've known each other for almost 15 years at this point.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
it's just
Is it a recent development for you? Like, I've always known like you've had plants and stuff, but
Right.
I didn't know this was like a thing.
the propagating and stuff has only just started within the past 2 years or so.
This is like sexy time with plants, right?
Yeah.
That's what propagating is. Like, you're like, you rub the plants together.
All right, so a pithos plant is a vine plant
Okay.
that grows down, and then it has aerial roots. So as they come down, so it's in the dirt, and then the vines come down, and then it creates a new leaf, and each leaf that comes out, it has a little aerial root that shoots out. So you can clip it, and so that it has the leaf, and then it has the
Little root?
little bit of a stem, and it has that aerial root. And you can just take that and put that in water, whole new plant.
Wow.
And it'll just take off. Maria and I have always been kind of into plants. And like when we first got married, we lived out in a place where we were right next door to a great friend of ours who absolutely loved plants, who loved like flowering plants. And so like she would, take clippings and give those to us, and I'm like, oh yeah, just stick that in some dirt and it'll grow, kind of a thing. And like we'd always have fun messing around with that and trying to keep stuff alive. But back in those days, we weren't very good at it. Like we were pretty crappy at it. And you just kind of, with time and experience, like you pick up on things and you learn. Like I've got this like purple plant right now that I could give it to you. You can't kill that thing. I've cut that thing all the way down to the roots, and it grew back. You learn which plants you're good at.
Yeah.
Like you can't kill a crepe myrtle. There's nothing you could do to kill a crepe myrtle. I know because I can kill plants, and I can't kill a crepe myrtle.
It's coming back.
Those things are good. Those things are fine. You can put those anywhere. You can plant those in concrete. They'll be fine. You pick up on those things. And there's other stuff that like you try and it's like didn't work. Couldn't make that thing work.
Fascinated by this.
Yeah.
And I think like I'm fascinated by it, again, because I'm so bad at it, but I also just like I love a garden.
I would love to do a whole ass garden.
Yeah.
Did I tell you a story? Like, do you remember Aubrey's corn?
No.
Did we ever talk about that?
No.
So Aubrey, one time when we were in Alabama, Aubrey found a Christmas decoration that had it's like one of those things, like almost like a pasta wreath. You ever do one of those or something like?
Yeah.
It was just like a arts and crafts thing that had corn somehow utilized in it, and she kept it and put it in her pocket and brought it back home to Florida. She got home and she planted that thing. That piece of corn must have been 20 years old. She planted that thing and it grew a corn stalk.
What?
Legit grew a corn stalk that was at least 5 feet tall.
Wow.
Started to put out the ears, and then it died.
Oh,
because like she was the only one taking care of it, and just got bored with it. Or
sure. I know that feeling.
But like legit was like grew a piece of grew a whole corn stalk.
Wow.
This year, like it was her idea. Like we tried to grow. She's tried to grow a pumpkin before, and we had a vine that went out 20 yards into the yard.
Wow.
It would bloom like crazy, but never made a pumpkin for some reason. We always heard that like as soon as it would bloom, where the blooms die, that's where the fruit would grow there.
Yeah.
But it never did. This year we tried to grow okra, melons, a few other things. I can't remember what. We tried pumpkins again, and it would still grew a vine, but we never got any fruit off of it. But I grew okra, and I'm going to make a bunch of okra this year. I'm going to plant like a whole bunch because like that, again, I would say, I bet you can't kill it. Like I've still got those okras. I haven't watered them in months and they're still there. I know if I kept watering them, they'd probably put out more, but I don't think you're supposed to because I think that they get hardier and tougher over a year. I think you're supposed to replant.
Yeah.
One of those kinds of things. But yeah, no, I love plants. Like I've got a monstera that somebody gifted me and it's going like crazy. And I want to try to propagate it to make
Listen, I'm for it. Like you can give me whatever, man. Like I'll
giving you
try
some
it.
Pithos, man.
I'll try it.
If I knew this was a thing, I would have brought you 5 of them today because I've got like
it's a thing.
Yeah,
and I think it's a thing too of like anytime we travel or anything like that. Like when we were in Scotland, Ireland 2 years ago, like I love walking through a good garden.
Yeah.
Like a well manicured, especially that like
farmer's market with like beautiful
yeah
stuff.
See, for me though, like walking into like a garden center or a farmer's market, I'm like, oh, this is pretty, but all this is just death. Like I just see nothing but death because like that's what's I know it's bleak.
It's life, man. It's
a
circle.
Sure, I don't disagree with you, but like I will kill everything in here, not on purpose, not because I want to, just because I'm irresponsible. I think I'm just an irresponsible plant owner. So at this point, like I'm watching the plants from afar. I'm watching Monty Don do the thing. Like there's episodes where like he talks to people who are like apple experts, and this dude's like, yeah, man. So like, I mean, this is not. They're British, so we're not talking.
Yeah, bro. So like, we take these apples. Right?
Like, they're totally rad, man. And like but like he's talking about like you take these apples and you cut it this way and you cut it this way, and then the apples form this weird spiral, and like you can get a whole apple tree to basically grow like a vine. And I'm like, nope. I could never do that, but it sounds cool, and I love watching you talk about this because just like what happened like right now, you get people who love plants talking about plants, and like it's a thing, and I'm fascinated by it. It's so not only the gardener's world and watching this on the Amazon channels, and I highly recommend it. It's great napping TV too.
Oh yeah,
because like it's
always like a little. Either smooth jazz or like light classical.
right. It's the how stuff works kind of, or how it's made or whatever it's called. Like just pop that thing on, and it's great.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wanted to discuss that, and I had no idea that like that
you
was
opened a can of worms.
Yeah,
man.
that's cool.
Yeah, I love plants. Like I love going to Lowe's and just walking through there and trying to think of like, all right, what's Maria not going to yell at me if I bring them? You go back there, like one of the funnest things is to go back and go through the clearance stuff.
Oh yeah,
the stuff that's like kind of dying. I'm like, yeah, you can have this for $1 if you want it, and then taking it home, see if you can get it to.
No, I just help it along the way.
Yeah, like, all right.
I basically spent $1.
Bring you home. You're gonna die with me.
I spent $1 to this is a geriatric plant.
Saw a really funny one.
Give you a good home while you die. I'm so sorry.
Funny one the other day. It was like, here, you can buy this plant for $5 and you'll kill it in 2 weeks, or you can buy this one for $10 and kill it in 3 weeks, or you can buy this one for $15 and you'll kill it in 4 weeks.
Jokes on them. I'm gonna buy this one for $15 and kill it in 2 days.
Yeah, I got you. I can beat that time.
I would love to map out a little better next time I go to Europe, like some of those gardens, because like I had no idea that like Kew outside of London, or I guess it's technically in Greater London, is like
KEW.
Yeah, it's like an impressive garden as a whole, and I would love to visit that.
Yeah, one of the last time we were in Paris, we walked through the Luxembourg gardens. Incredible. Yeah, like they were so pretty.
Man, that's so cool.
Yep.
Yeah. We got anything else?
No, I don't reckon.
Nah, me neither.
Yeah, you're letting my southern out.
You think we should get like a blade of grass and stick it in our teeth?
Ain't nothing better than just like plucking a leaf off of a tree or something and just chewing on it.
All right, I'll take your word
Seeing
for it.
what it does.
Well, why are your lips that color? I don't know.
You swollen? Maybe.
You look like chipmunk.
What you been eating on?
Tree.
Ivy.
I done looked that tree over there.
Bummer.
Well, then on that note, we'd like to know, what do you think about the Laphroaig Cairdeas, the 2024 release? This is the Cask Favourites.
Yeah. Have you been lucky enough to try that one? If not, have you had any of the other Cairdeas releases? Which one did you like?
Yeah, and what's your favorite Laphroaig release as a whole?
Yeah, I still want to try quarter cask.
I still want to try
I
Lore.
haven't picked one up yet. Yeah, Lore too.
Yeah, Lore. It's just it's one of those like it's a bit the Lore anyway. It's a bit expensive.
That one I don't think it's part of their core range anymore. I feel like it might be a special release now or limited release.
We'd also love to know, what do you think about, first of all, British specific gardening shows?
Ugh, any British show, man.
Fair.
It's just good stuff.
It's comfort food.
You ever watch that one where it's like, what's the right word? They find old people, bring them old junk, and they
Antiques Roadshow kind of thing.
It's not Antiques Roadshow, but it's like they're bringing them old stuff and then they repair it.
Oh, repair shop.
Yeah. Love that one. Good. Love that one. Yeah. Like the stories are so interesting, and like y'all fucking like tinkering around with stuff. Like, it's great.
It's great. And we'd also love to know, do you have a green thumb like Kyle?
You had to work on that green thumb.
Yeah.
It was not a green thumb for a long time, but like you're starting to have some luck with it. And yeah, tell me your story.
Did you ever see Fern Gully?
Yeah.
Like, the anthropomorphized version of death, like that goo ooze. That's me.
Yeah.
I am that.
In your essence.
Yeah, whatever that is, I am just
fuck.
It just
sorry.
turns to death.
Yeah. You got the Midas touch in reverse.
For sure. Yeah. Well, you can get in touch with us through email. It's drepandstone@gmail.com. You can also get in touch with us through social media.
It's always one word, Drep and Stone, DREP and Stone. Come find us like a thing. We'll comment on some things and have a conversation about some things, and we'll enjoy those things.
Corn Hub, where gardeners gather for delight.
Oh my God, that's not a plant. I think it's more like a band. They're like
Corn Hub.
Cornhub.com.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
May your glass overflow.
And your ass never show. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.